Yeah. So we see that in itself. You know what I'm saying? We see the President of the United States, Donald J. Trump, didn't disclose payments of more than 40 million to himself. How many of your greedy motherfuckers is doing that? Excuse me. Excuse me. How many of your greedy motherfuckers is have been doing that and have done that to many races of people and many people's country? Why are you talking about Donald J. Trump, a 4 year president, and cheated out of the other four? You know what I'm saying? And for that, he is still the president in itself because everything that the demon Democrats have done to this country over many years, 47 years and better, you know what I'm saying, before and after, in itself, have done to this country and other countries across the world of indigenous people, brown and black and so forth on, even Africa as a whole, and even did it to the Europeans as well, because I got news from many people. I'm saying many Europeans were enslaved, you know what I'm saying, before Africans. You know what I'm saying? And they probably were the first ones to be enslaved and brought over here. But when they were worked out in that sun in the south in the heat, they realized that those people cannot, sustain and so forth, and I guess this, that, and the third. And then they started, you know what I'm saying, emptying the Egyptian, African, Sudan, Ethiopia plateau by enslaving the African peoples in the region and removing them from there, probably using the Muslims and all them to do so back in the days, and remove the Africans from there and bring them here in slave ships. This is afterwards of the European impositions and slavery in the form, even done to the Irish. Many of the Irishes, endured many of their slavage. Shit, they might have been the first slaves to come here, you know what I'm saying, on slave ships, you know what I'm saying? But the Africans came and so forth on, and, you know what I'm saying, there were already Africans here as well. You know what I mean? So many of this garbage that we see going on and have been going on for years is one thing. But when we get to where we are today and we have to look at the aspect of many of these long term people in our government that have been there 47, 50, 60 years, why are they still there? Is a question that we must ask. You know what I'm saying? But we see where, they're saying he didn't speak about the 40 million or 80 billion or whatever because they done did worse than that. So I don't understand why they're blaming Trump or digging into Trump personal business in the first place. I mean, let's dig into Joe Biden's business. Let's dig as deep as we can fucking go, like you doing all the way. Next, what the fuck they gonna do? Check Donald Trump drawers? Yeah, let's check his underwear. Talking about a secret room, this, that, and the third. I don't want to see no secret room. Fuck the secret room. And anybody in the rightful mind want to hear about that bullshit from Jack Smith, dumbass, you know what I'm saying, which should be fired. I would have fired his ass a long time ago. His crooked, stumbling ass, you know what I'm saying, and many others, you know what I'm saying. Now I'm talking about a secret room and this and that and the third. Who the fuck want to know that? You barely showed us what's the name did on the airplanes. You know what I'm saying? And I bet you Jack Smith ass was up there too. You know what I'm saying? But we see he said he didn't tell him about the 40 million to himself. You know what I'm saying? Undervalued the annual management cost of the Trump buildings by 1.6, I guess, $1 million. And, you know what I'm saying, he waited 8 months to disclose, saying the disillusions of some of his companies, you know what I'm saying, to to the monitors overseeing the company. You know what I'm saying? Man, that's bullshit. Nobody gonna hear that stupid ass bullshit. You just digging into this man business in any shape or form to discredit the man in any shape or form that y'all could possibly find. You know what I'm saying? And we really don't give a flying fuck in itself. And anybody in this country right now that is talking about an election or cleaning up this country as a whole should be looking at more than just some dumb shit that they're talking about his financials and this and that and the third and all this bullshit. You know what I'm saying? Nobody cares about that. You know what I'm saying? Nobody cares about that. in itself. You know what I mean? Who really gives a flying fuck? You know what I'm saying? Even where you see Michelle Obama, running for president, saying exactly what the Democrats need. No, it's not what they need because anybody in their rightful mind, like I told you before, would still be voting for Obama, Michelle, Bush, um, Biden, Kamala, and any of those group of people, the Schumer, all of them, Nancy Pelosi, all of them, anybody keep voting for these same people, we know full well that you are heading for a life of destruction. Do you think Michelle Obama is going to get in there and change anything? And who's going to vote for her? The woke race, what I'm saying, talking about LGBTQ, that's the ones that's going to support her in all ways. Let me explain something to you. You need a fighter. You don't need folly. And it seems like a lot of people appreciate folly over a fighter of a strong back. You know what I'm saying? And Trump is the one that we need right now. We don't need no Michelle Stewart. She's going to weaken this country because she's going to go down the same road as the demon Democrats in the garbage that she do. You see what I'm saying? In the garbage that she do. So we don't need to be going down the road with none of that. You know what I'm saying? We really don't need to be going down the road with none of that. You know what I'm saying? And we need to choose better candidates and get rid of a lot of the candidates, and they should be brought up on criminal charges, especially what we've seen they have done to the world or in the United States based on what they call the pandemic. We see World Health leaders warn of pandemic 20 times worse than COVID. Well, there's only one way that could happen, what I'm saying, is that the trigger was already set. You know what I'm saying? If you don't know that, then you didn't figure it out. And we're not a babysitter, and nobody can have to keep telling you over and over on the same subject that is massive importance to the general public to the point of understanding what you need to do rather than let them talk you into suicide. Moving on. You know what I'm saying? Moving on. We see Russia has threatened to retaliate against the West in equal measure if, you know what I'm saying, if if it confiscates Moscow frozen assets, you know what I'm saying, I guess for Ukraine. You know what I'm saying? The West, you know what I'm saying, in itself froze 300 billion in Russian assets. This is an insurrection and a criminal act on the world court stage if I ever seen it. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? I've seen it. This is stealing at its highest rate, it's provocation at its highest rate, and it's criminality against humanity in itself. You know what I'm saying? Same thing we see with Netanyahu. You know what I mean? But we see here where the central bank and the central bank is involved. Huh? Oh yeah, this is why many of our American people, white, black, green, or purple, mainly the white people who fought for this land and died and spread bloodshed on this land, you know what I'm saying, is noticing and should notice by now where they could have this type of money and the World Bank can freeze the money and they're investing in our country and they're making billions and zillions of dollars, but the American people are still talking in thousands and hundreds. You know what I'm saying? How many hundreds? It's not that many. You know what I mean? But we see here where the central bank, you know what I'm saying, assets after Moscow, they see, I guess they must have frozen the 300 billion Russian central bank assets after Moscow invaded Ukraine in 2022. You know what I'm saying? Now the G7 leaders are set to discuss how to seize those assets to fund the reconstruction in Ukraine. That's a criminal act in itself. And Putin have all rights to retaliate on that piece of garbage. Because if Putin had did that to them, they would have been talking the same shit, avowing retaliation. See, the demon democratical dogs think that they rule the world, and no matter what anybody say or do, we're gonna do it to your ass anyway. This is the type of mind frame a lot of duck clock motherfuckers and knucklehead ass niggas, you know what I'm saying, be doing. You know what I'm saying? Where they'll ride around for someone else talking about they paid them to go do something and they go kill an innocent man because they don't like the man or they choose to follow the beast against their own people. We know this as well across African land for many, many, many years. Not just here in America with sell out as backstabbing as black people. And it goes with the white people as well. You need to start to look at how many of your people that you elected or followed or involved or this have sat there and backstabbed you and find out in what ways. Maybe it'll free your mind. You know what I'm saying? But we see where they are discussing to seize these assets from Russia. I don't agree with none of it in no seizing of any assets of Russia's wealth. You know what I'm saying? To feed Ukraine piece of garbage involvement in damn near a destruction of our entire planet based on these games of cockamamie chicken games that you play with people's lives, such as we see in Ethiopia, Sudan, and the Gaza Strip. You know what I'm saying? While we stand aside and look, not all, but many, and those many must now get involved and speak up. You know what I'm saying? Because to say nothing and see criminality such as human genocide, sexual genocide, like we saw in many of those countries in not Taiwan, Indonesia and places like that, and even in China, over there with Playboy jackass ain't, you know what I'm saying, doing dumb shit to the world and the people itself. You know what I'm saying? You know, we know you whitewashed the world, bro. We know you're a lying motherfucker. Let's just be honest. And for dumb niggas to not understand that, you know what I'm saying, and many of the white people that live in this country, you should know the history of the garbage and the whitewashing of this world in which your people have done. You cannot just sit there and tell me to your face that when it is said or talked about in many ways that your feelings is hurt. You know, that's not even acceptable in no shape or form because you know full well what your people have done. They have even done it to you before mine. My people ruled the planet for many, many years before many of this came out. Right? You know, we even see where scientists are saying the doomsday clock, you know what I'm saying, live.